Hello and welcome back to Hot to the Top. Hope you're all doing well today and I hope you're ready for a massive episode as we have a league game against Basel which isn't so big, but we have a massive game against Stade Rennais in the Champions League, and the winner of that will go through to the Champions League knockout stages, so that is huge. First things first though, we need to go through results since you were last here, and there have been quite a few of them because we played quite a few games off camera. You were last here of course for the 6-3 loss to Liverpool and then the 3-0 win against St Gallen. So straight after that we had a Swiss Cup third round fixture against Arrow and we won it 2-1 with Coley getting himself a brace in a bit of a return to form, as I think you'll see later down the fixture list. We followed that up with a 4-1 win over big rivals Young Boys, Bottles with 2, Bernard with 1 and Schneider gets the final one in that game. So another huge win there. Before we had another big loss to Liverpool. Again, we lost by the same margin, but this time the scoreline was 3-0 to Liverpool. So disappointing but understandable to lose by that kind of margin to a club of Liverpool's stature. We bounced back though with a huge 6-2 win over our rivals Zurich. Technically away from home, but we also play in the same stadium as Zurich, so technically at home as well. Coley got himself a brace, Bajrami picked up 1, Bernard picked up 1, Bottles picked up 1, and James Rodriguez picked up 1 right at the very end of the game. Of course, at this point, we were on cloud 9, but it got brought back down to reality with a 1-0 loss to Luzerne just after that, with them scoring in the 94th minute, which was disappointing. But then we brought ourselves back up with huge elation after going to Turin, beating Juventus 1-0. Coley got the only goal of that game as well, playing on the right wing in that particular game. So thank you, Coley, for your return to form because you saved us there. That was a huge victory over Juventus, who just haven't turned up in this Champions League group stage. We then beat Lugano 3-1 with Coley picking up a brace and Bottles picking up another goal. And then after that, a big 4-0 win over Sion in the Swiss Super League. Bottles with a hat-trick in that game and Schneider with the other goal. Bottles, obviously, you're thinking at this point, we need to get him a new contract because he is playing extremely well. 19 goals in 17 league appearances, 23 goals in all competitions. However, if we offer him a new contract, he doesn't want to sign a new contract because suddenly he's scoring goals and thinks, I'm better than grasshoppers. So thanks a lot. Now, there's good news and bad news to this. The good news is he's only valued at £6 million, so hopefully clubs don't offer too much more money than that, because when he signed his original contract with the club, he insisted on having a minimum fee release clause in there, which is £20 million to foreign clubs. So hopefully no one gets close to bidding that, because if they do, we're losing him, and he's our big goal scorer this season. Obviously, we'd have to sign someone else because Coley on his own isn't going to be good enough. Fingers crossed that no one triggers that, and hopefully after that, he'll want to sign a new contract when, I don't know, he just feels like he can't go anywhere else and we give him a bigger contract and he'll be happy. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for with Bottles. Coley, on the other hand, is returning to form. 6 goals in 12 league appearances, 6 starts actually, 6 substitute appearances, and then 10 goals in all competitions. So a good season so far for Coley, returning to a bit of form after last season was, well, dreadful. Moving swiftly onwards to the respective league tables and Champions League tables and things like that, we are currently still top of the Swiss Super League table, as you would imagine, with 15 wins and 2 losses. 45 points on the board, 10 points clear of Young Boys and Luzerne. You'll love to see it. Also worth pointing out that Luzerne are having a fantastic first season back in the Swiss Super League, find themselves 4th in the table right now, 2 points ahead of Basel. St Gallen slowly recovering, but they are miles away from where they were last season, so don't expect them to do particularly well this season, unfortunately. Also big news in the yellow cards table as well. For once, it's not a Grasshoppers player at the top of that list, so that's a little bit weird, but congratulations to the St Gallen guy who's trying to eclipse all the Grasshopper players. The Champions League group is looking pretty nice for us at the moment. We currently sit 2nd in the group on 7 points. Now, Liverpool, top of the group, already qualified. They won every single game, so fair play to them. But Stade Rennais and Juventus have kind of helped us out a little bit to becoming 2nd in the group. So if we look down here, obviously, you were last here for the 6-3 loss to Liverpool, where Stade Rennais beat Juventus, surprisingly. And then the next game week in the Champions League, they drew with each other, which also helped us out massively, as we had a second successive loss there to Liverpool. We stayed 2nd in the group, which is fantastic. And then, of course, last time out, Liverpool beat Stade Rennais, but we beat Juventus. So, as it stands right now, as long as we don't lose to Stade Rennais, we should be going through. We beat them 1-0. We beat them 1-0. So, if they beat us 2-0, they will go through because they'll have better goal difference and a better record against us. But as long as we don't lose, we will go through 2nd in the group into the Champions League first knockout round. Before we get to that Champions League drama, though, we've got to face against Basel, who are obviously a very good side. And this is the team that I think is going to be doing it today for us. Calas stays in goal as per usual, with I think the best backline we've got now with Gauther, Augusto, Sterigu and Cruz. Granit Xhaka and Lars Jacobs come into that midfield partnership as Randy Schneider is suspended for for today's game, but has got 10 goals in all competitions now, which is pretty good going. Bernard, Alex Smith and Willian in that attacking midfield trio, with, of course, Bottles still leading the line for us. But if teams start to bid for him, he is wanted, actually, apparently, by, a lot of clubs. That's worrying. I mean, I think we might have to accept that Bottles is going. He's not going to sign a new contract, understandably, when this many clubs are interested in him, including Inter Milan, who I think we bought him off. Rome, we bought him off instead, but it was a very, very good deal. If we do lose him, though, striker is going to have to be a priority, so hopefully we can get someone in. Although, ideally, we don't want anyone taking him off our hands, especially for only £20 million. If he didn't have a minimum fee release clause, we could get a lot more money for him, I reckon. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things where players sometimes demand to have one, as Basel come forward early on, putting their header from the free kick just wide of the post. So let's get away from the transfer speculation. Let's get away from the Champions League for now. Let's just focus on the league. We are doing incredibly well in the league this season. I think it's the best league performance we've ever had, and I'm really pleased with it so far. Obviously, the new additions have come into the side, and it just seems to work together quite nicely with the slight tactical changes that we've made over summer as well, moving from inside forward to wingers. It's worked really well. Obviously, Bottles is profiting from it massively. Randy Schneider's just bagging goals for fun from the midfield, and Bernard has been a fantastic signing on that left wing. Obviously, Tim Wright was sort of meant to be the player coming in, and I would have liked Tim Wright to be the player to come in, but he is just so injury prone. It's so unfortunate that Tim Wright is picking up injuries left, right and centre, and it is having an effect on his potential because he's just not training and getting game time because he's spending half the season out injured. So that's a big shame. Obviously, he'll still be in and around the squad as backup when he is fit enough and things like that, but at the moment, it's not looking great for Tim Wright, unfortunately. The new guy coming in, though, has been brilliant, so thank you very much to the new guy for... What's he called again? I forget the name so easily like this. Bernard, of course. Leonidas Bernard. It's not Leonidas Bernard. Where have I got Leonidas from? Or it's Leonard Bernard. Or am I thinking, what am I talking about? Hang on, we'll look at his name in a second. I can't be getting this wrong. Sure, do you get this sometimes in your games where you've got a player that's so good for you and you're like, I love this player. Hang on, what's he called? I just can't remember what it's called sometimes. Felipe Cruz puts it into the middle. Jerome Bernard is there to score the goal. He's 8th of the season. I have no idea where I've got Leonard Sterigu. That's where I got the Leonard from, Sterigu. Combining two players who came in over summer who've been very good. In the pouring rain here today at our home stadium, Williams' cross was blocked. Felipe Cruz in the middle. And there's Bernard back of the net. They just all work together so well. I'm so pleased with how everything's going with all our players. They're just gelling and it's going well. And we are romping our way to the title this season, which is brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant because we are winning the title, but actually it's a little bit unfortunate because there's no battle. I've enjoyed having those title battles the past few seasons. Last season's one against Basel, going right down to the last game of the season against Basel. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. It was good fun. We've just picked up another goal, and it has actually counted. The substitutes being made at the top there, and I thought it didn't count. But Alex Smith picks up only his second goal of the season from Williams' free kick. No idea if he's actually reconsidered his retirement yet. He's not said anything to me, so I'm just going to go on the assumption that he is still retiring at the end of this month now. So this potentially is the last time that you guys will actually get to see William, which is a little bit sad. Obviously, we want to say a big thank you to William for sort of helping us out this season with our right winger issues. We will look to sign another right winger in January should he leave the club, although we've not really got any money to do that right now, so it might have to be a free transfer if possible, or even a loan. Of course, we do have Billy Schmidt ready and waiting, but at 17 years old, he's probably not quite ready yet to start games and things like that. He hasn't quite got the experience that we need. I think it would be a bit of a mistake to just put him right out there. So I think we should look to sign someone else. But if we can't, at least we do have him as a future wonder kid at the club, I think, to start progressing pretty well. As Bottles gets in behind the defence, can he make it? 3. He hits the inside of the post. It bounces clear. And unfortunately, we can't make it 3-0 as Basel are looking to come and grab a consolation goal or even get themselves back in the game, but they can't. We will look to make a couple of substitutes in a moment's time. We'll just watch this highlight first as Willian can't get his head on the ball. Goes as far as Felipe Cruz, though, who can put the ball back in towards Bernard. Bernard put it across to Willian again. It's cleared. And our Basel going to come forward now. It's a good ball forward, to be fair, to their number 26, who shoots and it goes in the back of the net. We now need to guard against complacency a bit because they could easily grab another goal to equalise things up. What we're going to do then in the meantime is we are going to take bottles off for Patrick Hartman. Hartman, obviously a regen of ours, and he's starting to break himself into the first team. Not having too many appearances, but he's getting there. So Hartman is going to start up front for us in this, after the substitute appearance, obviously. Lars Jacobs not having the greatest of games, so we're going to bring Neto on for a rare appearance as well. And I also kind of want to make a change in the back line as well. Augusto's going to come off for a Bajrami. Bajrami can come on and have a little run out as well, just to get a bit of a stretch of the legs before the big game against Stade Rennais. Clock is still ticking, 5 minutes to go. There's still highlights coming thick and fast as Alex Smith racing forward. Can he play it through to Hartman? No, he got selfish and shoots and it goes over the bar. This time, though, the clock really is ticking down. We go through additional time and we end up winning the game 2-1. Another win for us, still 10 points clear of Young Boys. You love to see it. I've got to say, at this stage of the season, the halfway point of the season after 18 games, we're 10 points clear. If we don't win the league title now, I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the squad. Only 2 days off before the Stade Rennais game, so not much rest time. Hopefully Stade Rennais have also had quite a busy schedule recently and they'll be quite tired. This reminds me, a couple of you guys keep mentioning staff to me in the comment section, and I don't really talk about staff, probably not enough, but I do routinely upgrade the staff, which is why we are got the best staff pretty much in all the Super League, which is good to see. This particular chap, Goran Ivlej, or whatever he's called, he was a coach for us right at the very start and then recently went to Kriens as their manager. And essentially, if we go to our loans thing at the moment, he has signed a couple of our players on loan there and they're doing quite well. And he wants to sign them permanently, but that's obviously not what we want to do. Callum Brennan's there at the moment, but we've also got Bosnanovic at Rapperswil as well. This guy looks okay in the midfield. If he reaches potential, he could be quite a useful player for us in the future, but only once he reaches like 3.5 stars of potential. 2-star, maybe not quite so useful for us right now, but obviously this guy wants to sign him at the moment for Kriens. We're going to go out there and just say, I have a ton of respect for Goran, our former coach, but he's not for sale. Anyway, enough of that. I did forget the rest of players. So actually, we have got quite a tired squad going into the Stade Rennais game, which isn't brilliant. Felipe Cruz is needing a rest. He's not looking very fit and only on 83% condition. So he's going to come off for Cyrus Christie. So come on, Cyrus Christie, do some good. I think a fully fit Cyrus Christie is going to do better than a very tired Felipe Cruz, unfortunately. You might be shouting at me for doing that, and I might be shouting at myself for doing that when we lose 3-0 or something like that. But it's something that needs to be done right now. We're also going to take Granit Xhaka off the pitch. Yes, we're going to take him off the pitch, and we're going to bring back on... Well, we'll put Wirtz on for now, but then take Wirtz off for Andy Schneider, who's back fit, or not suspended at least for this game. Bernard's looking tired, but he's got to stay on because no one else can play in that position, really. We'll also put Felipe Cruz on the bench as well, just in case we do need him. But other than that, do I want to make changes? Willian can come off. We'll bring Coley on the wing instead, but he's looking tired. This is not great, is it? Dajaku. Go on then. Dajaku, see what you can do on that right-hand side. We'll leave it like that. It's a slightly fitter squad. Hopefully it works out. I don't know. We'll see. Kickoff is upon us today, and I back us, all right? I back us to not lose to Stade Rennais. I mean, we can take a draw, we can win, as long as we don't lose, and I don't think we should do at home against Stade Rennais either. Yes, they have caused some surprises by beating Juventus and drawing with Juventus, but then again, we did as well, I suppose. And they lost heavily to Liverpool. We'd lost heavily to Liverpool, so we are quite evenly matched. So even if they do win, I think it's only going to be like 1-0 or something like that. I can't see them scoring 2 goals, or beating us by 2 goals, I should say, to go ahead of us in the group on goal difference and whatever the head-to-head record. I think we should be good enough here today to see off Stade Rennais. Bernard on the ball right now, in towards Schneider. Schneider coming forward with it out to Gauther. Gauther, come on, lad. Put this ball in the middle. On Dajaku's head, not quite. Cyrus Christie shoots from distance, and I thought that was going top corner. Unlucky for him, it wasn't quite. Bernard on the ball once again for us, putting another cross in the area. And again, it's sort of bouncing around the area. And does that count as Gauther's goal? No, it goes down as an own goal. So Bernard gets on the ball, puts the cross in, which is cleared eventually. But Gauther's shot obviously must have been going off target. I actually think it was going quite off target before just hitting the defender and having the unfortunate bounce of going in the back of the net. So we are 1-0 up against Stade Rennais, in the driving seat as things stand, clear to qualify for the Champions League group stage, or knockout stages, sorry, for the second season in a row, which would be brilliant. Colas makes a huge save there as well, as Stade Rennais looks certain to score from that. Stade Rennais still looking to come forward, though, on the ball. They lose possession, though, to Schneider, and Schneider racing forward, shoots. No, tries to pass to Jacobs, who wasn't quite on the same wavelength as him there, as it bounces clear. But Galtha back to Dajaku, makes it 2-0, and Stade Rennais, if they want to qualify now, have to score 4 goals against us, which I just can't really see happening. So I think we can sort of chill out now and know that we are qualified for the later stages of a Champions League again. Now, obviously, last year we lost heavily to Barcelona. It wasn't like a small defeat. We lost 10-2 on aggregate, which was disastrous, really. This season, we're aiming to lose by less than that because, again, you know, we've had heavy defeats to Liverpool this season, and that's the type of team that we're going to be facing in the Champions League knockout stages. And I just don't think we're quite good enough yet to be reaching the quarterfinals of the Champions League, which is a bit of a shame, but it's good progress still for us to be doing pretty well. As Randy Schneider grabs a goal beautifully there as well. What a goal just for half time. Now, someone actually pointed out in the comment section to me that getting to the second round of the Europa League knockout stages gives you more coefficient points than reaching the first knockout round of a Champions League, which, to be fair, might be true. All right, that might be true, but I think being in the Champions League itself, whilst it, you know, the first knockout round, maybe that doesn't give quite as many coefficient points as getting further in other competitions, it increases the club's reputation, Grasshopper's reputation, and we can sign better players because of that. And I think that outweighs the negatives, I suppose, of not having as many coefficient points, for example. So I think that is ultimately, you know, a winnable thing. I think I'd rather have that than, I suppose, more coefficient points for now, because it means we can get more coefficient points in the future when we sign better players. It all sort of works itself out in the end anyway. So that's my, you know, that's why I'm so desperate to qualify from our Champions League group rather than try and settle for third almost to get more coefficient points, which is obviously what we don't want to do. We don't want to rig this to finish third in the group. We want to do as best as we can, and the Champions League offers so much more money as well, so I think that's worth it too. What I will say is I think we've really grown in this Champions League so far. I think we had a bit of a nervy start. Obviously, we drew with Juventus, which was very good, but we were the better side in that game. We didn't really capitalise on it. We then beat Stade Rennais 1-0 in a bit of a nervy game, and then, of course, we had 2 heavy losses to Liverpool. But since then, a win against Juventus at their place, a huge win at the moment against Stade Rennais. I think we've grown into this competition. Hopefully, we can take that sort of confidence and momentum into the later stages of the competition. It looks like they might have just won a penalty. It's going to the VAR. Schneider apparently does give away a penalty, and now Kalas has got a job to do to save his penalty, to keep his clean sheet. Can he do it? He does. Brilliant. What a fantastic save that was as Galtha gets it clear. Oh, someone scored. I mean, I wasn't watching. I mean, you probably seen me turn around just a second ago. I wasn't watching. They've just scored a goal. I mean, it's a fairly decent goal. No defending, so that's probably the reason they scored the goal, to be fair. They're back in it, but they've still got to score 4 more goals if they actually want to beat us and go into the first qualifying round, of course. And that's not going to happen with only 15 minutes or so to go in today's game. Well, that one I just didn't decide to talk because I didn't think anything was going to happen from it. Okay, well, again, poor defending from us, but now they've only got to score 3 goals in 15 minutes, which, again, shouldn't be possible, surely. Come on, lads, just concentrate a bit for the final 10 minutes or so, and we should be fine. You know, as long as we get the win here today, it's absolutely fine. A little bit of a worry then when they start to score some goals, but ultimately, they couldn't prevail. They couldn't score the 5 goals they needed to, and we win the game. We go through alongside Liverpool, fantastic stuff. Stade Rennais into the Europa League, and Juventus have disappointed massively. So we've qualified for the first knockout round, which is huge, and then we've also got £2.32 million for winning that game. I don't think the draw is for a little while yet. I think the draw is like, oh, it's only there. It's after the Toon game. But you won't see that because we're not going to do a Toon game in today's episode. So next episode, it will be a surprise as to who we get. Next episode then, we are going to come back after the winter break and we are going to go for the Champions League first knockout round game and then the Luzerne game as well. I think that seems like the best option to me. So if you have enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a like on it for me and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I'll see you next time for some more Champions League football, which is very exciting. So stick around for that. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Goodbye.